Hello students. Today we will be reviewing claim, evidence, and reasoning. Throughout the entire unit, we're going to be working on CERs. And so today we're going to take some time out and just go over each component of a successful CER. So the C stands for claim. And one of the questions that can guide you when you make a claim is to think about, what do you conclude? It should be a one-sentence answer to the question you investigated and should describe the relationship between a dependent and an independent variable. The E stands for evidence. So what data proves this claim? All right, and you want to use enough data to support your claim. It could be both quantitative or qualitative data. And the R stands for reasoning. So how does the evidence support the claim? This part shows how or why the data counts as evidence to support the claim and provides an explanation of why the experiment results occurred. So let's work on an example together. So this is the problem for our example. Which diaper brand could absorb the most liquid without leaking? Bamboo, Nature, or Honest diapers? Now you have a hypothesis, and the hypothesis is Bamboo, Nature will be able to absorb the most liquid without leaking. So now we're going to go ahead and use claim, evidence, and reasoning for our conclusion. So again, for claim, we want to answer, what do you conclude? That's like our guiding question here. So in this experiment, my claim is going to be Bamboo, Nature absorbed the greatest amount of water without leaking compared to Honest. Now for evidence, again, we want to go over the data that proves this claim. And in this situation, based on our data table, Bamboo, Nature absorbed an average of 100 ml of liquid before leaking, while Honest absorbed an average of 46 ml. Now that we have our claim and we've backed it up with evidence, we want to give a reasoning. So how does this evidence support the claim? In our situation, since Bamboo, Nature absorbed a max of 100 ml versus 46 ml before leaking, it has a greater absorbency. The materials Bamboo, Nature is designed with provide more padding, which help absorb the greatest amount of liquid. So there you go. Your first example of how we use claim, evidence, and reasoning in science. Now that I've gone over that example with you, I want you guys to try to do an example yourselves. So we're going to go over the problem and hypothesis together, and then you're going to pause the video and you're going to fill out your own claim, evidence, and reasoning to practice applying the skills we just went over. So the problem in this situation is, does the number of seeds planted in a pot affect how tall the plant grows? Hypothesis: if more seeds are planted in a pot, then the plants will not grow as tall because they're competing for limited resources. You have a data table with some important information, and now at this point you have everything you need to go ahead and make your claim, support it with evidence, and give your reasoning. All right, so now you've reviewed your data table, you've gone over your problem, you have a hypothesis. Let's go ahead and make a claim. What can you conclude? So for this practice, we can conclude that the pot that had the greatest number of seeds had plants that grew the least. Now, where is our evidence to support this, right? What data backs this up? Well, let's go over the table, right? When you had 2 seeds, the average height of the plant was 15 centimeters. When you have 4 seeds, the average height was 12 centimeters. With 6 seeds, the average height was 10 centimeters. And with 8 seeds, the average height was 8 centimeters. So pretty much as the number of seeds increased, the average height decreased. So your evidence could be that with 2 seats, the average height was 15 centimeters. But when you planted 8 seeds, the average height decreased to 8 centimeters. So now we have our claim and we have our evidence to back it up. Now let's give a reasoning, right? How does the evidence support the claim? Well, my claim is that if I plant more seeds, then the average height's going to be lower. And my evidence is that when we planted 2 seeds, the average height was 15, but when we planted 8, the average height was 8 centimeters, which shows a decrease in the height. And this is happening because the more seeds you have in a pot, the more they're going to compete for resources such as the nutrients in the soil, water, and even sunlight. And that's going to limit their height. So this wraps up our example of claim, evidence, and reasoning. Again, what do we mean by claim, right? It's what you conclude. And it could be a one sentence answer to what you investigated. You always want to back it up with evidence. You always have to support that claim with evidence. And in science, it could be both quantitative or qualitative. And the more evidence, the better. Of course, you want to wrap that up with a reasoning. How does this evidence support the claim? And the reasoning shows how or why the data counts as evidence to support the claim, right? Also, it provides an explanation for why the experiment results occurred and so forth. Feel free to use this for future CERs and follow up with our second review of claim, evidence, and reasoning so that you can get more practice with CERs and you can see your CERs grow as the unit progresses. Good luck, guys, and I'll see you soon.